What if I told you that a simple wooden box could ruin your life? That once you touch it, you invite something dark into your soul, something that never leaves. This is the terrifying story of the Dybbuk Box, an object so cursed that even those who merely stand near it feel an unbearable sense of dread. For decades, strange occurrences, horrifying visions, and tragic events have been linked to this seemingly innocent wooden cabinet. Those who dared to open it experienced unspeakable horrors, shadowy figures, physical torment, and even death. But despite the warnings, some still sought to uncover its secrets. Would you be one of them? But before we go deeper into this chilling case, make sure you subscribe now and hit the bell icon to stay updated on the most horrifying true stories. You don't want to miss what's coming next. It all started in 2003, when an antiques dealer named Kevin Mannis purchased a peculiar wooden wine cabinet from an estate sale in Portland, Oregon. The cabinet had belonged to a 103-year-old Holocaust survivor, but there was something deeply unsettling about it. When Kevin asked her granddaughter about the box, she turned pale and warned him to never open it. She claimed it had been passed down for generations and was always kept sealed because it contained something sinister. Kevin, a skeptic at heart, shrugged off the warning. After all, it was just an old wine cabinet. What harm could it do? But from the moment he brought it to his workshop, things started going terribly wrong. Kevin's nightmare began the very first night. Strange things happened. Lights flickered, shadows moved along the walls, and an overwhelming sense of dread filled the air. At first, he thought it was his imagination, until it got worse. Curious about the box's contents, Kevin decided to open it. Inside, he found eerie objects. A lock of blonde hair tied with a string. A lock of black hair wrapped separately. A mysterious golden goblet. A dried rosebud. And worst of all, a small granite slab with Hebrew inscriptions. That same night, Kevin had a terrifying nightmare of a dark figure standing over him, suffocating him. He woke up gasping for air, covered in sweat. But the nightmare didn't end there. His shop assistant quit, claiming she felt a dark presence following her. Customers complained of sudden dizziness and nausea while near the box. Kevin's health began to deteriorate. He suffered from unexplainable bruises, intense fatigue, and severe hair loss. It was as if something unseen was slowly draining his life away. And then came the whispers. Faint, guttural voices echoed through the house at night, growing louder each time he tried to ignore them. Objects moved on their own. Was it all a coincidence? Or had Kevin awakened something that should have stayed sealed forever? As time went on, Kevin's experiences grew more disturbing. He reported smelling an overpowering scent of ammonia in his home, even though there was no source for it. His nights were plagued by more violent dreams, dreams in which he saw dark, shadowy figures with hollow eyes whispering his name. But what finally convinced him that he had made a terrible mistake was an encounter with his mother. One day she visited his shop, curious about the stories surrounding the cabinet. The moment she touched it, she froze in place, her eyes rolling back into her head. Within minutes, she suffered a stroke right in front of him. She survived, but she was never the same again. Kevin had no doubt now. This box was cursed and he needed to get rid of it. But who would take it next? Terrified and desperate, Kevin gifted the Dybbuk Box to his mother as a birthday present. But the moment she received it, she suffered a sudden stroke. Doctors couldn't explain why. Realizing the box was cursed, Kevin quickly sold it on eBay, warning potential buyers of its dark history. But that didn't stop people from purchasing it. The box passed through multiple owners, each reporting horrific experiences. Unrelenting nightmares of a demonic figure, paranormal activity, doors slamming, furniture moving, and whispering voices, health issues, unexplained rashes, migraines, and even organ failure. One of the owners, a young college student, tried to burn the box, believing fire would destroy the evil inside. But no matter how much he tried, the wood would not ignite. Instead, the flames would flicker and die out instantly, as if something was resisting the destruction. He abandoned the box, leaving it in his apartment, But from that night onward, he swore he could hear someone breathing in his room when he was alone. Eventually, the box landed in the hands of Jason Haxton, a museum curator intrigued by the paranormal. But Jason soon regretted his decision. His health rapidly declined, and he was plagued by terrifying visions of an ancient, twisted entity lurking in the shadows. But was it truly contained, or does its evil still linger, waiting for another unsuspecting victim? Today, the Dybbuk Box remains hidden, but its curse still lives on. Some believe it holds the tormented soul of a restless entity, forever seeking a new host. But what's more terrifying, this isn't the only Dybbuk Box. In 2018, famous musician Post Malone encountered the cursed object during a paranormal investigation. Witnesses claim he touched the box, despite multiple warnings. Just weeks later, he faced a series of life-threatening events. A plane emergency, a car crash, and even a home invasion. Was it mere coincidence? Or had he angered the spirit within? Some researchers suggest that cursed objects like the Dybbuk Box work by instilling fear, making people believe they are doomed, which in turn attracts misfortune. But those who have personally experienced its horrors would argue otherwise. The truth is, we may never know the full extent of its power, but one thing is certain: those who come near it never leave unchanged. Would you dare to open the Dybbuk Box? Do you believe in its curse, or do you think it's all just a legend? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love terrifying real-life horror stories, subscribe now and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a chilling update. Trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. The next horror story might be even scarier than this one.